Sorry, I gotta have the microphone on. Good evening, everybody. Another happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Been hotter than blazes down here in South Florida, and we're back. No rain again, so it's just been a scorcher. I know it's been hot in other places of the country. I was talking to my buddy JB, the driver of the Smurf, and he said it's been unbelievably hot in North Carolina. So, yeah, it's been, hey Rick, how you doing? John and Ryan, hey, glad you guys made it in tonight. Yeah, it's been a scorcher. In fact, it's really put me back on working on the all-neck vintage race car hauler because it's just way too hot to be working outside, even with a tent. Because the truck is so big, you end up working about a foot off the top, underneath the top of the tent, so the heat is just unbearable. So, been one of those deals that got to just do what you can do. So, been working on a couple projects here in the shop. Did a little bit of work on the radiator for the cup car, so it's basically ready to be put in the car. And show you guys some stuff about that. I did get the all-neck running last Friday night, and what I did was I went ahead where the truck is positioned at my buddy Doug's shop in DNR. John says it's hot in Pennsylvania. I think it's hot everywhere. So where the truck's placed at DNR Automotive, the building starts shading the truck at about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So that's what I did last week. Last Friday I went up there and started working at 3:30 and stayed till about 7 and got the truck running properly. So that was a big milestone. And I was about ready to do a road test, but I broke the check valve on the power brake booster. It was just original and brittle, and it fell apart. So I got that, and I'm going up tomorrow around 4 o'clock, and hopefully that's going to be road test day. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, I'm putting the final touches on the Smurf, Papa Smurf Jr., trying to get that ride done. I'm basically got all the mechanicals done on it. Hopefully going to get oil pressure in the next few days. And once it has oil pressure, then I'll put the front end back on it and then go ahead and do all the chassis setup and everything like that. And that thing will be ready to hit the track probably middle next week. So I think we're going to do some testing in Orlando pretty close. So yeah, so we'll see. John saw the video, so yeah, I said sound pretty good. Yeah, it's getting there. You guys remember last week I was talking about it was popping and start stuff, and I guess the heat was getting to me because when I went back up and I pulled the harness out of the ECU to make sure I didn't have pins backwards there, they were right, and then went back under the hood. Well, there's no hood, but back in the engine bay, and actually I had two wires in the wrong position, so fixed that, and then everything came together on that. So we got the console all back together. A couple little odds and ends and wiring I had to finish up so that I could get the truck back on the ground. And so it's really close. So we'll have some stuff about that. Pretty much trying to think. Another piece of news. Our beloved dog, Bishop, had passed about a year ago, and so we've been contemplating what to do, and I'm kind of one of those people when it just seems right, it usually is right. So I put it on Facebook for you guys that saw it on Facebook, but we got a new guy that we're training to be the new shop inspector and shop dog, and he's young. Yeah, this time we I guess you could say we swung for the fence, I guess. I don't know, but this guy's 10 weeks old, and so we're having to do potty training and stuff like that, and teething with baby teeth and stuff. This is something that we have not done in a very, very long time, either with dog or children, since our youngest is 33. So yeah, I don't know what we may have shot ourselves in the foot a little bit, but no, but it'll be great. And this way, they have such a short time with us, so to get a rescue that's 8-9 months to a year and a half old, you've already missed that section of time. So we kind of went in early on this one. So I think he'll be making an appearance here shortly. Thanks, John. Thanks. So yes, that was he actually hung out with me today in the shop in his little play cage or play yard or whatever you want to call it, and he did fairly well. And had to get my my welding screen back out so that I could weld and didn't have to worry about him getting arc flash. But everything worked out good. Yeah, Ryan said, "Got to have a shop, buddy." You're right. Yeah, it's been the wife and I have definitely been missing having a companion around in the house. So I think it's going to be really good. And he already rides in the car really great, which is good since we are going to be going to LS Fest at the end of or the beginning of September. So that looks like he's going to be fine for that. So so a little bit of channel news. I got a thing from vidIQ, which is a web search engine kind of thing that I use, and they just sent us a thing that we just passed 3,000 viewers, and so here he is.
He just peed in the house, by the way.
Yep. So this is Benji, and squirming a little bit. But yep, he's the new shop inspector. He's in training, so we'll see him some more in the future.
Okay. Bye. Bye. I'm not used to these cameras.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, so there he is, the first viewing. John says picked up 2 rescues that were 2 years old. Never again. Yeah, I mean, you never know what, obviously you never know what you're going to get. Unfortunately, the older they are, sometimes, they came from bad homes and stuff. That gets a little crazy, Our youngest has a rescue that she took from a family, took in from a family. She didn't take them, but she took them in from a family that was, I think the father might have been abusing him a little bit. And boy, he's got high anxiety. In fact, he's on a bunch of different meds and stuff because he gets so anxious and crazy and stuff. Although he's done really well with her, and he's lived with her now for 4 years. So, but yeah, so that's Benji, and I'm sure in some of the videos and stuff you'll be seeing him again. So yeah, so I was saying we just hit a plateau, 300,000 views on the channel, so that was great. So let's go ahead and get caught up with what was going on this week. So I guess we'll start off with the Cup car, and let me get a. So I showed you these pictures before. Oh, that was way exposed. So you can kind of see on here that that radiator had AN fittings on it. It was a 20 and a 24. And I thought about getting fittings for it and adapting it to the rubber hose. But those are pretty pricey pieces. So I did what you get them somewhat straight. Yeah, that's hard. bless everybody that takes in rescues, though. I mean, they all need a home, and dogs truly are men's best friend. So, yeah, thanks, Ryan. So anyway, so I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Let me call our local race parts heroes, Race Parts Solutions. Darren, John, Wade, the crew up there in Georgia, and I ordered some parts. Excuse me. So there's the AN fittings. I cut off the radiator, and then I got some 1 3/4 and 1 1/2 pieces of tubing from Race Parts, and put them in the bead roller. Got a nice bead on them, and then welded them on the radiator. And so that came out real nice. Even though I don't have the attachment or the pulser fixed on the welder, at least welding this thick of aluminum, it worked out okay. So that came out good. There you can see with new fittings on there. I was able to clock them the way they need to be for the car. And I was thinking about the expansion tank and was coming up with the fact that I was going to use this AN fitting on the top of the radiator, and that's actually the wrong place for a expansion tank. So an expansion tank, you want it to pressurize or bleed the air off the top of the engine, and then have the fluid go into the lower hose, because that's the suction into the water pump. That's the correct way to run a expansion tank. So again, with Race Parts Solutions, I got a bung and put it in the side of our tank. So on an LS engine, you actually have steam lines on the top of the engine. So that steam line that used to go into the radiator will now go into this tank, and then dash 8 will go into this section here of the lower hose and go into the suction side like it's supposed to. So there's the nice fitting. Now the way these fittings are made, you can actually weld them on the backside, so there's no weld. However, I already had the tank made, so kind of had to do it this way. But real nice pieces, all billet, CNC machine. Now, unfortunately, I was out of. I thought I had some. Well, I did have some dash 8s, but I thought I had new ones. I had 2 of them, and these were cut off old pieces that I saved. Came from Race Parts, but from a while ago. And there's the 1/4 inch bung, or 1/8 inch NPT bung that's before welding. I've got a couple of them, and there it is. Afterwards, you can see the step here, so you can actually weld this from the backside and not see any weld on the outside, which it really makes it really nice. But you have to have it when you're building the product, the part. And there's the fitting that I had robbed off of another bracket or another part that we tossed, and I machined it. I saw this. I took this picture after I welded the tube together, because I had 2 of them, and realized the one I welded on that fought me a little bit was the one I did not machine. It was just cut off with a cut-off wheel. It wasn't cleaned, and it made it a little messy. So, but yeah, here's another piece of straight tubing, 10 inches long, 1 3/4. Just go in the middle of the bottom hose, and you can see on the edge there, I put the dash 8. So that's where the expansion tank will refill the cooling system with. And there's the ugly weld. Sorry about that, but that was. Afterwards, I realized that wasn't the part that I had cleaned and machined to go on. It was dirty, and boy, it really came out that way. But just a little helper, or just help for you guys whenever you need aluminum, stainless, titanium, even. Race Parts Solutions in Georgia is the place to go. They keep 90s and 180s and straights in stock of all different sizes. Aluminum, I believe, 1 inch all the way up to 6 inch. Stainless, I know they go up into 5, I think, on stainless. And now they're offering, they're getting into the titanium. They have pie cuts, and I think they're getting some mandrels too. So really great place for your car building needs. They don't really sell, like your Holly and all that kind of stuff, but they sell the stuff you need to finish your product, all the in-between stuff. They are a dealer for Fragola and a couple other manufacturers, and so between what they make in-house, they make radiator tank lid, intercooler tank lids, fuel cell lids, all those things are all billet, made in USA. Just gotta check those guys out. They got a lot of good stuff, a lot of turbo stuff, a lot of V-band stuff for exhaust. Really good guys. I got some V-bands from them too for some projects, and they also have T-bolts. So if you want to get a better coolant hose than a regular worm clamp, they've got the T-bolts. They have them in black powder coat, so everybody likes all the black stuff on their cars now, so they got them in black too. But V-band stuff all in different sizes and stuff, and they have made in America, made in their shop, the V-bands that you weld into your tubing. And one of the great things about their V-bands is they have a male and female. So your tubing will go into the receiver, you weld it in, and then it has its own inner seal that interlocks. So you have a male and a female that interlock to each other. So really good for exhaust stuff, and then they also have dual seal components that use O-rings with a band around it. And they were one of the first companies to have it. Of course, people stole their idea and have a lot of other people are making them now. But V-bands are rigid mounted. So you either have to have flex, or the component you're putting the V-band on has to have flex. Like on an exhaust system, you got it rubber mounted. But if you're doing charge pipes and stuff like that, it has to move because it's attached to the chassis and the engine. Their dual seal clamps are awesome. They got room in there so they can move around, but with the O-ring seal, they still seal up. So really, really good guys. I've known them for years, probably 35 years or something like that. And silicone. They have silicone of all kinds of shapes and stuff. And now they're making a lot of turbo and throttle body inlets and outlets that are for dual. So if you have a single turbo and you want the exhaust to come out but go out both sides of the car, they have these billet merge pieces now that are super lightweight because they're CNC machined, and then you can hook your pipe up to that and come out the sides. Or if you got two intercoolers or two turbos or two superchargers and you want to go into one throttle body, they make them for that too. So John says, can you get it in ID and OD diameters to weld on? So all their V-band, I can't swear to their dual seal, but all the V-band stuff is all stepped. So it takes, your pipe actually goes inside it. So it's got an inside, or it's got an OD ID for your OD tubing, and then it has a step. So it's unlike other brands where the V-band half just slides over your pipe. These have a fixed stop in it. So that way your weld and your heat and stuff doesn't get involved into the seal of the two V-band pieces. And like I said, one will have a receiver and one will have a male piece, so that they interlock together, and they have about on the stainless is what I use a lot of. They have about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch of flat, and then there's the step where your pipe goes into it. So it makes a really great attachment point. Of course, in the big pipe, you could weld it on the ID if you wanted, but I just weld them on the OD, and it works great. So if you guys need any, you should check them out. You should go by their website, check it out, racepartsolutions.com, and thumb through their online catalog there and kind of see what they've got. They've got something for everything, really. I mean, it's amazing the job that these guys have done. And if you know, Street Outlaw or any of those fans, a lot of racing, professional racers, you'll see on their cars Race Parts Solutions ovals, because they supply all the pros and all of us amateurs and stuff, and just great products, great prices, all American made. So, but yeah, that worked out real well. The Radiators, all I got to do now is cut out the fan shroud, and the Radiator's ready to install in the car now, and we'll go from there. So the other thing I did, I was working on the Smurf, Papa Smurf, and you know, of course, in racing, we're always trying to make everything lightweight. So on the old engine, the fuel pressure regulator, I kind of had it rigged. I had it on a Dell clamp bolted to the motor. Yeah, look, Ryan, you got to check their site out. They got great stuff, and you know, they'll bend over backwards to get it to you as fast as possible. And you know, they are a huge supplier of Fragola, and if you need anything that they don't have, they can drop ship it. Just fabulous. I mean, I wouldn't know how to run my shop if I didn't have them for my products. I get stuff from them weekly, and it's been great. Anyway, so since the engine was replaced and wasn't replaced, we had the engine freshened up back in Smurf, and we moved a couple of the components around in the front of the car, so I had to remake some lines and stuff. And I was looking at the fuel pressure regulator, and I'm like, you know, this is really crazy. I can't believe I've left it on this car this long. So I went in my titanium pile, and I picked up some components, and I made a fuel pressure regulator stand. So let me show you that stuff. So these are like little tabs. You can use them for like window tabs and stuff like that. I forget. It's all this titanium is 045. So it's fairly thin. That's the great thing about titanium. It's very, very strong. And that's a piece of 5/16 pencil rod. That's what we call it anyway. It's 5/16 040 wall. So I grabbed a couple pieces, and I bent them in the brake a little to get the right distance on the fuel pressure regulator. I didn't feel like cutting them. One thing about titanium, if you try to cut it and you get it hot while you're cutting it, it gets super hard. If you try to cut it with a cutoff wheel, you'll never get through it. And by about halfway through, even this thin of titanium, your wheel will just stop cutting because it gets so hard. The abrasive wheel can't even cut it. So typically I cut it all with a hacksaw by hand, and it takes a little time, but with the window tabs, I just bent them, and I figured that would make a little stronger joint, being the material is very thin. So that tab will bolt to the back of the fuel pressure regulator. That's the other side. This is the side that'll actually go against the regulator. And I figured with it welded, with the pieces bent and welded like I did, it'll keep them from ripping. Then I made this, I got the flat stock, and I put it in the brake and bent it, and made it a piece. This will bolt to the engine plate, and this stand will weld on right here. I went ahead and drilled the 2 holes for the motor plate, and again, if you get it hot, so what you got to do is put the drill on very, very slow speed with a lot of wax, drilling wax or cutting wax, and probably turn your drill bit about 100 RPMs. It'll go right through it like butter. But boy, if you get that hot, you're done. It's crazy. So then I made a fixture to get the heights right on the welding table. Got her all welded up. And when you get the heat just right on the titanium, it's really cool. It almost makes it look chrome. So it's fun and tricky to work with. It'll turn, once it turns blue, you're about to burn a hole in it, and then if it turns bright blue here at the weld joint, and then it'll blow out. So again, we're working with 45 thousandths material, so it's pretty thin. See on this side, because I was trying to get a weld all the way around it, I got a little hot, but it didn't blow out, but it was getting close. So that's just about the right temperature before it starts blowing out. And I wanted to show you this. This was cool. Let's see if I can turn this around. So here's the complete bracket all welded up. And it's 3 or 4 inches tall and everything else. And look at that, 11 grams for the complete bracket. That's why we use titanium when we're making stuff on the race cars, because it's amazing how light the material is and how strong. To get the same strength in chrome moly, you'd have to use like 60 wall. In steel, you'd have to use like 90 wall. So that's where the weight difference is. It's not that titanium is lighter, but titanium is stronger, so you can use a lighter material. But yeah, 11 ounces with all this weld down here. I mean, if I'd have cut these tabs off and butt welded them to it, it would have been that much lighter. But I was real happy at 11 ounces. That was pretty cool. So there it is, bolted to the back of the fuel pressure regulator. And just a front angle. And there it is, bolted up on the engine. So we have a motor plate across the front of the engine. And drilled the motor plate 1032 and used a 5/8 long screw. The plate is quarter, and that way I could put a nylock on the back side. So it's threaded into the plate with a nylock, jamming it on the back. So we don't have to worry about it coming apart. And now the regulator is mounted firmly. We can, put the fuel lines on and off, and it works out real nice. Just another angle, the camera kind of got messed up with that hose sitting there, but you can see the nuts on the back side, and kind of much better angle there. And then the other thing I had to do is I had to remount coils on the motor where I had them before. They don't fit very good. So I got these mounts from Motion Raceworks. The reason I have these pictures is because they sent them with the wrong spacers and the coils are actually touching each other. And I had to send them pictures so that they would send me the right tubing. You can see here that these two outer coils are touching, which is not right. And on this one came with one set of right spacers, and that one has a gap. The other side's touching. So I just showed you that because they're kind of cool how they work like that. They clamp right onto a roll bar or any round bar, and you can mount your coils in wherever you need to mount them. When you were running coil unplugged, that makes it really easy to get an installation when you can have options like that. There's just another picture. You can see there's the gap. This spacer was supposed to come with 8 in the kit and only came with 2. So they did correct it for me though, so I will give them that. Not super thrilled with their business platform because they sent the wrong parts and put me in a time crunch, so I had to have the correct parts second day aired, and I had to pay for the difference in shipping. So wasn't really happy about that, but at least I got the parts. It's fixed, they're installed on the engine, and we're good to go. But just like showing options when you're putting cars together, that way when it's just nice to have visuals sometimes on different components, so that when you're in a stuck position, you're like, what can I do? I don't have room here or room there, and you can look around and find different options to help straighten that stuff out. So worked real well, and we've got that just about done now. So I'm in the middle of building up some new wiring harnesses now because the old harnesses were too short now. So that brings us to the Olnick. Let me see here. Thought I got. Maybe I didn't get any pictures. Well, anyway, so here's the. I think this is a video. Yes, it is. Let me just get this restarted here. So it's a narrow screen because it was a YouTube Shorts. You got to be a certain aspect ratio in the video to make it work on YouTube. So here's the little shorts that I made. Switch screens here. Let me go ahead and hit play. Hey everybody, just an update on the Olnick 8.1 engine swap. It's alive! Ready to haul some cars here soon. Just have to make a throttle cable and an air intake tube and should be ready to take out for a drive. Oh, and a power brake check valve that broke off when I was hooking it up. But other than that, she's alive. Pressure. Everything seems to be working good. Next step, make a throttle linkage and hook up the vacuum to the brake booster and we'll be ready to drive. Stand by. We'll be sending more future videos. See ya. Yeah, so I was a little tongue-tied there for a second. I can't enlarge that. Anyway, so you can see on the screen, that was my base write-up screen. Luckily, on those motors, there's a lot of information out there on the horsepower and torque and all that stuff, so I was able to come up with a startup file that was pretty darn close. You could see that it was idling right in the 14.4, 14.8 range. That was right off the base tune, so working good. So, yeah, Dave, right, hooray. Oh, JB's on. Hey, JB. Yep, vroom, vroom. Yeah, so that is going to be a big load off my shoulders having that truck finished. You could see, I don't know if you noticed, but the passenger side door frame has got a lot of cancer in it, and that's why the front cap is off of it. It helped when I did the motor swap, but that's why it's not back on, because the A-pillar needs to be rebuilt, and then we have a new door and a new A-pillar sheet metal from AMD to put on there, and then the body shop will all the front sheet metal we had blasted, and it's all in primer, so it's all ready to go back on. But yeah, so I'll go up there tomorrow and get the hook up the throttle cable. I got all that made, and check valve for the vacuum booster, that's what that big hose was laying across the top of the engine. I did have it plugged, so no vacuum leak. But that in the air intake, and she's ready for a road test. And once I verify the Allison shifts properly, it'll be off to the body shop. So it'll be out of my hair for a minute. So that'll be great. We can get that thing moving along, and give me some time to get this cup car finished up so that we can get that thing prepared for sale. I know for the guys that are on the show weekly, I have it on Racing Junk, and I've gotten a lot of views on Racing Junk, but I've only gotten 2 contacts about it, and nothing concrete so far. So once I get the front brake ducts on it, I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of pictures on Marketplace and on all the NASCAR vintage sites that I'm on. I just want it to be authentic road race car, because there's so many people selling stuff that's not really set up for road race, and the people on the internet trolls jump on them hard. So I want to make sure I'm good with that. Jason says, so does the Holly control the Allison? No, it does not. I do not have a controller for that, but there's a shop, and I forget the name of it. Maybe it's called the Transmission Shop or something like that. And he takes old school Allison computers, like when GM had the trucks with the 6.5 Detroit diesels in the pickups, and they had Allisons behind them, or gas engine. They had ECUs for that, or TCU rather. So he takes the TCU, and you feed it RPM and throttle position, and then it runs the transmission from there. So you can run the transmission behind pretty much any kind of motor you want to. John says that the 8.1 should run way better than the 366. You are right, sir. This was a huge undertaking, being that I did it out of the shop, and the truck was 20-something miles away, outside in the sun in Florida. But it was the right move for this truck. As you say, great change from the 366. So this motor is going to make 175 more horsepower and 200 more foot-pounds of torque than the 366 big block that was in the truck. And of course, then we got rid of the Fuller 5-speed and manual, and now we have the Allison automatic. So I mean, it's just going to make driving the truck so much more enjoyable. We'll see how the gear ratios work. If my math was correct, I did it a long time ago when we first started this project, and I haven't gone back over it. But if I remember correctly, 2,500 RPM in 5th gear and high rear end ratio should put the truck at 75 miles an hour. So that would be 10 miles an hour faster traveling speed, so more closer to today's highway traffic. So you're not being a rolling chicane going down the highway, everybody having to get around you. And hopefully with the gear ratios in the Allison, it won't have to be doing as much shifting with the improved torque and the spacing in the gears in the Allison. Hopefully it won't have to be doing as much shifting on grades. You know, when you'd run up a 2 or 3% grade, like, you know, we've taken this truck to Bowling Green, Kentucky a couple times, and we've not gone the right way to go to Bowling Green from our area in Florida is I-75 through Atlanta to Chattanooga, and then take 24 west to Nashville. But in doing so, when you leave Chattanooga, you go to Mount Eagle, and that is I think it's 3,800 feet, something like that. But it's a 5% grade for 6 miles, up and down. And I had never even tried it with that truck, because I know just going over small grades, like going through Atlanta, or we normally bypass Mount Eagle by taking 20 from Atlanta over to 65 and then going up 65 into Nashville. And there's some smaller rolling hills there, nothing bad. Most vehicles and most over-the-road trucks don't even slow down with those grades. But with this thing loaded, you're downshifting sometimes 3 gears, because you have a split in the rear end. So you have downshift in the fourth high, then fifth low, then fourth low, and you're going maybe 35, 40 mile an hour climbing the hill. And then when you go down the other side, it's upshift, upshift, and it just makes quite a bit of work when you're trying to, you're on a long highway, a long trip. Plus the fact you're, again, 35, 40 mile an hour going up the hill, and everybody's running 70, 75 around you, wondering what the heck is going on. Yeah, the truck does have a 2-speed rear JB. I think it's a 589 and a 736, I think. Don't hold me to that. That's going off of memory. But it's a 5-something in high and a 7-something in low. Which we could still use the low if you've got a big load in the truck and you're got to start off, climbing a hill or something like that. But I believe, if my math was correct, I'll have to go over that again. But if I believe that it should be able to drive 99% of the time in high range only. So that will be even more significant than just being able, not having to shift it so much. But I did put on the console I built for it, I do have a high-low switch on the console for it, along with the TCU that the guy flashed for me. It has a no lock. It has a tow mode, so it has a reprogrammed shift schedule and lockup schedule, and then it also has a no overdrive switch in it too. So if you switch it to 1, it's in tow mode. Switch it to 0. If the switch is in 0, it's a normal highway shift program. You should put it in position 1. It's in tow mode, just like any of your GM late model trucks. They have a tow haul mode on the shifter. It does the same thing. And then if you put it into position 2, then it eliminates overdrive. It just stops at 1-to-1. So if you're really having to work it, you can keep transmission temps down by doing that. No, the Allison we got, unfortunately, is a 5-speed. So I wish it was a 6-speed, but actually the 6-speed would have put us in between gears. It probably wouldn't have been able to use it anyway, unless we changed the rear diff gear, which I don't think we're going to do that after all this other work we've done to the truck. I believe with the 5-speed and the high range ratio in the rear end, I think it's going to drive really nice. I don't know how many times we're going to put a car in the truck, or have 2 cars in the truck and a trailer and a car behind it. I'm hoping to get my tow vehicle finished up here soon, and then I won't need to use Scott's truck to haul mine. So, but when we've gone to LS Fest in years gone by, it's worked out nice because we can take both cars and they're in indoor storage while we're going to the track, and you can just better for traveling one vehicle. So you can put a different valve body in, and you have to make some modifications inside the transmission. But yes, you can make a 5-speed a 6-speed. But there is a valve body change, and it's not like a dual feed circuit like in the 400s, but there is something you have to do inside the transmission, along with the valve body to get it to make it work. I've done a bunch of research on it. I haven't seen anything that was just programming only. The reason why my truck is still a 5-speed, because I didn't want to spend $2,700 on a 6-speed conversion kit, which gives you the valve body and whatever else they wanted you to change in there. So, but it is possible to do if that became an issue. So, but really glad to have that truck just about finished and get that thing going. Hey guys, Race Parts Solutions in the house. Appreciate the love on the truck, yeah. And guys, we got plenty of the parts, your parts on that one and on all the other projects here in the shop. I don't know if you guys were here on earlier, but I was showing tubing and V-bands and T-bolts and stuff like that, and welding bungs that I've gotten over the years from you guys that just make our building project cars so much easier. I appreciate it, man. So, but yeah, so that's great. That truck is just about finished, and hopefully, like I said, I'm going up Wednesday to put the throttle cable in, put the brake booster check valve in, and hopefully we'll get some driving video. That'd be awesome. And then it'll be off to the body shop. So we'll get Smurf to make oil pressure this week, and that'll be huge. And then we keep moving forward. JB says the 3000 series. It's about the dry shaft speed. I remember reading up on years on it with the RV. Yeah, the Allison that's in the pickup trucks is a 1000 series, and the 3000 series is definitely a much bigger unit. That would be in most of your diesel pushers. They either use the 3000, or if it's got a really high horsepower motor, I think they use a 4000. But yeah, they got some nice stuff in those. Yeah, you get the dry shaft speed going right, and you'll get it going down the highway nice. The diesel pushers like yours, JB, and my cousins. I mean, what a nice ride when you can just put that thing in 6th gear and roll down the highway. And my cousin's got the 3126 cat motor in there, 315 horsepower, I think, 330 horse. And I mean, that goes right through Mount Eagle, no problem. Climbing the mountains at 65, 70 mile an hour. You don't even know you got a trailer behind you. Those things are fantastic. Hey, that's right, Ryan. It is nice to see him get in the chat. It's great. JB, that's the one I was speaking about. Yes, the 3000, right? That makes more sense. But you can do a 6-speed with the 1000. But like I say, it takes a valve body, reprogramming a TCU, and I can't remember, but I believe there was something else that you had to do internally in the transmission. I could be wrong on that, but I know it's definitely a valve body. Or maybe it was a valve body kit. Maybe that's what it was. Nevertheless, it was a pretty pricey deal, and most people say it doesn't make that much difference. I never did to my truck. So mine on my dually, I did a gear ratio change and put super tall tires on it, and that kind of did the same basic thing. So next week I got the 67 Camaro back in the shop. You guys probably seen that in the commercial and in the content. It's a baby blue with a black top, small block Pro Touring. So I'm putting a Griffin radiator in that thing. Hopefully this weekend, if I can get we can get cleared up here. I want to get the AC lines done in Dave's car so we can get the AC charged. I can start driving that thing. It's just been way too hot to drive that car without air conditioning in it, and I just didn't want to sweat all over all that new interior upholstery. So it's kind of been sitting. I feel sorry about that. Sorry about that, Dave. I should have had some mileage on that thing, but got to get the AC working in that thing. So that's what I'm going to try to get done Saturday. Last Saturday, my buddy Mike came down with an El Camino. I don't know why we didn't get any video on that thing. But yeah, we ended up taking the whole weekend working on things. Race Parts Solution says, LOL, cool. I just got here, so rewatch the whole thing later. Yeah, thank you. And thank you guys for supplying awesome parts. It's a shame you guys aren't in Florida still. I mean, it was fantastic years ago when you were just a couple doors down from my old shop. But still, you guys get parts to me super fast and always on time and always what I need. So it's fantastic. Dave, hooray! Yeah, for AC, man. We gotta get your car moving along. We got all kinds of things. Turkey rod run coming up and stuff. We gotta get your car, get all the road trip mileage done on it, so we can get that thing and you can start taking it to shows and enjoying it. It needs to be in your garage rather than my garage. But yeah, so we'll get that done. And after all that, I gotta get back on the T-type. That thing has been sitting. We gotta get that thing back together. It's been up on the lift with all of the shop equipment underneath it, so it's kind of got buried in a hole. So hopefully we can get that thing back going here soon and move along with that. Race Parts, thanks for that, man. We've been a minute. We've known each other and been working together and work on each other's hot rods. I mean, back in the day before RPS was even there, when I had my old shop, Street Rods, when it first started, I mean, we had one section of shop and that was everybody's hot rod that was in there, and we were all just kind of helping out everybody, getting things done. It was a lot of fun back in the day. But oh, how time has gone by. But yeah, so that's pretty much. Oh, I got one more thing. So let me show you this. My neighbor, Mark, he comes on he watches the shows quite a bit, and I mentioned when we were doing the welding segments on episodes 100 through 103 that laser welding is the new thing now, and laser cleaning. I can't remember the half-assed customs has got a video out, or it may be on I can't think of the other guy's YouTube channel, but anyway, it's a fabrication YouTube channel, and they went together and they were showing half-assed customs laser cleaner. And so those blocks that we welded together, my buddy Mark, my neighbor, came over and got it. Got the block and used the laser cleaner, and look how it took all the coloring off of the stainless and got it really clean. And he went ahead, and I had a old framing square, and he did that thing. It's shiny metal again. In fact, he was like, was that thing chromed at one time? And it was just solid rust. You couldn't even read the numbers on it. And so that thing worked great. Looks great. And he has another thing called a weld cleaner that'll clean up these welds. So he's been playing around with that. Just got it, and of course, like all these newfangled Chinese tools, nothing comes with instructions. You just got to play around with the settings and figure it out. But so he's been working with the rust cleaner, but he hasn't had a chance. I got to get him a tank of nitrogen so he can start using the laser welder. So I don't know if you guys have seen those on TikTok or Facebook or whatever social media go on, but it's almost looks fake because they get this little gun and they just pull the trigger and a little thin wire comes out, and as they go down, it just has this beautiful little weld that's made by a laser. And Mark was telling me he's been doing a lot of research and looking at a lot of videos trying to learn, and he actually said that the laser, as it's feeding the wiring, actually will push the gun. You don't have to control it or nothing. You just let the machine push it along. In fact, he said some of the YouTube videos he was watching actually said that people that weld have a hard time welding with the laser welder because we're wanting to move the gun ourselves, and that's not the case with the laser style welding. So it'll be cool when he gets that up running. We'll do some coupons like these and play around with that one day. I'll get some video on that. That'd be really interesting. So the reason I brought that up is he made a good point. So the one dice, I was welding with silicon bronze, and he made mention of it, and he's actually right. We call it welding because we're using a TIG welder to do it, but actually with the silicon bronze, it's more of a braze. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I'm the professor. RPS, yeah, right. Maybe since 1987. You are right. It has been a minute. We've been hanging out, and just fantastic. So that's interesting to see. As Mark gets more experience with his laser deal, I want to start doing that. Rick says, send him to Pennsylvania. Got a whole rusty car that he can use the laser cleaning. Exactly. That's exactly what I was getting to. So I've been toying with, when I get back on the Vet Hawk, did I want to take the body and have it acid dipped, or did I want to have it sandblasted or soda blasted? And I said to Mark, I said, what do you think about using the laser on it? And he said, yeah, it'll knock the paint right off the thing. We don't know what it'll do to body fillers and stuff like that. So we'll see when we get back on that thing. Hopefully, maybe within the next month or so, we can get back on that build. 'Cause I got all the tubing for the roll cage, and I'd really like to get. I wanted to take that car to LS Fest this year, not in a completed state, but at least running with a seat in it. No paint, no body work, no nothing like that. But at least so I could have took it, but we didn't get that far with it. So. We can always hope for next year, but so that may be an option. My buddy Doug, yeah, Dave, good idea, Rick. Yeah, because Dave remembers when we blasted his car. The sandblasting, you got to use somebody that's really good at it, because the sandblasting can actually warp the metal with heat as the sand is blasting the materials off the car. If the guy doesn't know what they're doing, they can ruin a roof and a hood very easy. Soda is more forgiving in that aspect, but the problem with soda is it gets all up in nooks and crannies, and then when you get water on it, it turns corrosive. So you've just cleaned all this metal to get all the junk off of it, and then you get left with soda dust, and it becomes corrosive. Ryan says it won't clean it like a dip. Okay, well that was one thing I was wondering about, and we'll still give it a shot, but you'll probably end up dipping it. There's a guy on. I lost that one too. There was a guy on Instagram that does a lot of dip work. I think he's in Pennsylvania, and I forget his screen name, but really cool to watch how all that stuff comes out. We have a guy in Tampa that does it, or outside Tampa. I've heard rumors that sometimes they'll drill a hole in the roof to make sure that they get the air pocket out of the car. I don't really care to do that. I'd rather not have to worry about having to repair the roof skin. And the other side of that is, I don't know if I want, get the acid and all that up in the roof joints too. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes with that. I've heard from a friend of mine in the body business that there is a stripper in Alabama that it may be in conjunction with a Toyota parts. Maybe it's like Toyota manufacturing. They use it for their sheet metal parts replacement parts or something. But he was telling me that they actually acid dip, and then they do the electrolysis dip with the paint, so it comes back with the black primer, or the black paint, like AMD or any other replacement sheet metal parts you get that actually have some surface coating protection on them. So he mentioned it wasn't cheap, so I don't know. I'm still a ways away from what we're going to do with that, but we'll figure that out when we get there. First, we got to just get the car back into the shop and get it back on the project. But those are things we're going to be working on in the future. We'll get oil pressure on Smurf. I'll get you some video for next week for that. And we should be out testing in a couple weeks with that car. And, of course, we'll do something like that because I think at this point the test may be on a Tuesday night. So we'll do a abbreviated Tuesday Night Live where we do it from the track. So see how that all works out. We're still a ways away from that yet, but that's future stuff. And we'll see how it all goes. I can't believe we've already hit the 8 o'clock already, so I think we'll go ahead and pull the plug on tonight. I appreciate everybody getting on the chat. It was great. Looks like we had a bunch of views on the channel tonight, so that was really good. I appreciate everybody coming out and spending their Tuesday nights listening to me ramble on. Hopefully it's some good information that you can use and help you guys on your projects. Okay, that's the way EDP coding after dip, but it's money. Yeah, that's kind of what my buddy was telling me. It was expensive, but he was saying if you're going to dip it, he thought that was the best way to do it. Being I'm on a budget, I probably won't do that. But I'll look into it and see what the cost difference is. Fun show, great. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, the guy that's in Tampa. I was just in with this. The guy that's in Tampa that does the dipping process. He's always at Turkey Rod Run, and he has a car in bare metal for the entire weekend. And whatever neutralizing property that the final dip they put it in, the car stays pretty clean. One year I went and it had rained, and so on Saturday afternoon when I saw him at the show, and of course the car had been there since Thursday, it had a little bit of surface rust on it, nothing bad, but you could see it had a little staining on the car. But if you get the car from him and you put it in a sealer primer right away, I think you're being good shape anyway. So, all right. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll get some more stuff to show you and talk about next week. And see y'all later. Thanks for coming in. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and really appreciate everybody coming out. See ya.